The Baltimore Ravens are staring down the barrel of an absolute disaster if they mess up this first-round pick, but what we just pulled off in the war room might be the biggest draft heist in NFL history. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. Chapter 1. The ultimate draft heist right out of the gate. We are sitting at the 14th overall pick. The board is absolutely loaded with blue-chip talent. We are looking at massive names still available, but before we can even breathe, the phone in the war room immediately starts ringing off the hook. The Carolina Panthers desperately want to jump up to 19. The San Francisco 49ers are calling frantically about pick 27. But then, the Chicago Bears step up to the plate with an offer for the 25th pick that completely changes the trajectory of our entire franchise. Can you really afford to play it safe when the entire conference is stacking elite weapons and loading up for a Super Bowl run? The answer is absolutely not. You have to be aggressive. You have to be ruthless. You have to outsmart every other general manager in the league. We decide to take the gamble. We ship out the 14th overall pick to Chicago, and in return, we completely fleece them on the trade value chart. We secure the 25th overall pick in the first round, the 57th pick, the 89th pick, and a 2027 fourth-round selection. That is a complete and total masterclass in asset management. We gathered an absolute treasure chest of premium draft capital while barely sliding down the board. We knew with absolute certainty that we could still land a premier, game-changing playmaker at 25, and we simultaneously added 3 extra high-value darts to throw at the board to build out the depth of this roster. We secured the bag, but the weapon we snatched at pick 25 is going to make Lamar Jackson an unstoppable force. But wait until you hear the shocker we grabbed in the second round. Chapter 2. Giving Lamar his lethal weapon back on the clock at pick 25, the board falls perfectly into our laps. There are some incredibly intriguing names floating around, but one specific player completely jumps off the screen and demands to be picked. We do not hesitate for a single second. We lock in the pick and select Omar Cooper Jr., the wildly explosive wide receiver out of Indiana. If you watched any college football this past season, you know exactly why this is an absolute home run for the Baltimore Ravens. Our wide receiver room, as it is currently built, desperately needs more pure electricity. Zay Flowers is a menace, but we need another guy who can take the top off a defense and make contested, high-point catches when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter. Every single time the Indiana offense was stalling and needed a game-altering play, Omar Cooper Jr. was the guy answering the call. He stepped up in massive moments against top-tier competition, dominating defensive backs with his route-running and aggressive hands. He brings that exact clutch gene to Baltimore. We managed to trade back, gather a mountain of extra draft picks, and still walk away with a day-one starter who fundamentally changes how opposing coordinators have to scheme against us. Who's to blame for our past playoff struggles? And who is your absolute nightmare pick for Baltimore in round 1? Drop a name below. Adding a lethal pass catcher was priority number 1, but to survive the physical meat grinder of our division, you need a lockdown secondary and an impenetrable offensive line. And what we did in the second round is pure theft. Stick around because our next 2 picks build a literal brick wall. Chapter 3. Building the Purple Fortress. Heading into the second round with our newly acquired draft capital, we are sitting pretty with the 45th and 57th overall picks. The secondary needs immediate, high-level attention. The modern NFL is a passing gauntlet, and you can never have enough athletic freaks who can stick to elite receivers like glue. We look at the board and immediately snatch up Chris Johnson, the standout cornerback from San Diego State. Getting him in the middle of the second round is an unbelievable steal. He possesses elite ball skills, hyper-aggressive tackling in the run game, and the exact kind of fearless swagger you need to play corner in our punishing defensive system. He instantly upgrades the defensive backfield, creates turnovers, and makes everyone around him play faster. But we are not stopping there. Leaving Lamar Jackson out to dry by ignoring the offensive line would be a straight-up betrayal. We must protect our most valuable franchise asset at all costs. With our next pick, we address the trenches by aggressively grabbing Jennings Dunker. Most professional scouts view him as a natural fit to slide inside and play offensive guard at the pro level. We desperately need interior depth, and Dunker is a physical, nasty mauler who easily moves massive defensive tackles in the run game. We follow that up by immediately drafting Connor Liu, the highly touted and incredibly intelligent center out of Auburn. Liu is an absolute technician in the middle of the line, calling out protections and neutralizing blitzes before the ball is even snapped. Now look at what we have accomplished. In just 3 rounds, we secured a starting caliber wide receiver, a starting caliber cornerback, a road grading guard, and our brilliant center of the future. The foundation of this football team is getting terrifyingly strong. We just built a fortress for our quarterback and secured the secondary, but the defense still needed a vicious game-changer up front. You will not believe the college connection we exploited next. Chapter 4. The secret defensive connection. As we push into the middle rounds, the focus shifts to the defensive interior. Real football games are won and lost in the mud at the line of scrimmage, especially late in December and January when the weather turns freezing. We zero in on Rayshon Benny, the highly disruptive defensive tackle out of Michigan. This pick is brilliant for one very specific, behind-the-scenes reason. Our defensive coaching staff features guys who directly coached Benny during his time dominating at Michigan. They know his relentless work ethic, they know his specific technique, and they know exactly which buttons to push to unlock his maximum potential on Sundays. Getting a rotational interior defensive lineman who already understands the coaching philosophy and the exact defensive scheme is a massive, unfair advantage. Next up, we look at the tight end room. Yes, we already have established elite stars at the position, but in our tight end heavy offense, you can never have enough versatile mismatches. We absolutely steal Justin Joly at pick 154. I do not care if some talking heads on television call this a slight reach. The value here is flat out insane. We lack that specific type of tight end who operates like an oversized, slippery wide receiver. Joly is the kind of rare athlete who catches a simple 5-yard drag route, completely shatters a middle linebacker's ankles in the open field, and turns it into a devastating 30-yard gain. He adds an entirely new dimension of explosive yards after catch ability to a tight end room that is already feared across the entire league. We are cooking a Michelin star meal here, folks. But our backfield is getting older by the minute. The running back we just drafted to eventually take the throne from our veteran superstar is going to blow your mind. Chapter 5. Replacing the king. As we open up the 5th round, a glaring, uncomfortable reality hits us right in the face. Our current starting running back, Derrick Henry, is an absolute legend of the game. He is a guaranteed future Hall of Famer who still produces at a terrifying clip. We do not expect him to fall off a cliff this season, but Father Time remains undefeated against every single player in NFL history. You cannot wait until the tires completely fall off the vehicle before buying a new car. You have to be proactive and draft the replacement before you actually need him on the field. We look at the available offensive talent and aggressively slam the button on Le'Veon Moss, the punishing, downhill running back out of Texas A&M. We are not overthinking this one bit. Moss has the exact physical, bruising running style that our heavy offensive scheme demands. He survived the grueling, physical gauntlet of the SEC schedule, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can handle a heavy workload against NFL-sized defenders. Letting him sit, learn the playbook, and develop behind a legendary veteran for a year is the absolute perfect scenario. When the time finally comes, Moss will be primed, angry, and ready to take the reins as our undisputed lead back. Next, we need to shore up the middle of the defense. Roquan Smith is a generational talent, but he cannot play every single snap forever, and relying purely on aging veterans for backup duty is a dangerous game. We grab Caleb Alamzor, the incredibly rangy and athletic linebacker out of TCU. He provides immediate, high-quality depth, covers ground sideline to sideline, and can aggressively contribute on special teams from day one. We follow that up by selecting offensive guard DJ Campbell from Texas. You can never, ever have too many massive bodies on the offensive line. Campbell gives us crucial insurance inside, ensuring Lamar stays upright and healthy even if devastating injuries strike the starting unit. The main foundation is fully set, but championships are ultimately won by finding hungry, hidden gems in the late rounds. The final pieces of this puzzle involve a pass rusher who is going to be an absolute menace. Chapter 6. Late round larceny. We are now operating in the deep waters of the 6th and 7th rounds. These are the crucial picks where smart, forward-thinking front offices separate themselves from the rest of the disorganized pack. You are looking for very specific athletic traits, remarkably high motors, and guys who flat out love the violent game of football. We need to boost our edge rushing depth to keep opposing quarterbacks terrified, so we target Caden Curry out of Ohio State. Curry boasts a highly impressive pass rush win rate on film. He produced consistently on one of the most talented and competitive defensive units in all of college football. Adding a relentless, high-energy motor like his to our defensive rotation is a massive win this late in the draft. Next, we decide to double-dip at the tight end position by selecting Daquan Wright out of Ole Miss. You might wonder why on earth we need another tight end, but Wright is a very unique offensive chess piece. He operates incredibly well in open space and can manufacture hard-earned yards with his legs after the catch. NFL training camp is all about breeding intense competition, and bringing in a dynamic sec playmaker will force everyone in that tight end room to elevate their game to the next level. With only 2 quarterbacks currently sitting on the active roster, we decide to add a powerful arm for training camp. We select Taylon Green, the towering, dual-threat quarterback from Arkansas. Having a big, highly athletic developmental quarterback to run the scout team, mimic opposing mobile quarterbacks, and absorb the playbook is always a smart business decision. Finally, we keep it strictly local by grabbing Jalen Husky, a versatile and hard-hitting defensive back out of Maryland, to officially round out our draft class. You need physical bodies in the secondary to survive a grueling 17-game NFL season, and Husky has the raw instincts to fight tooth and nail for a final roster spot. Let's take a step back and look at the absolute masterpiece we just painted in this war room. We finessed the draft board to absolute perfection. We secured a day 1 starting wide receiver to dramatically stretch the field. We locked down a physical, tone-setting starting cornerback. We drafted 2 aggressive maulers who will comfortably anchor the interior of our offensive line for the next decade. We found the future, bruising heir apparent at the running back position. We grabbed a highly disruptive pass-catching tight end, and we seamlessly stacked quality, high-upside depth across the defensive line and linebacking core. This was not just a good mock draft. It was a flawless clinic on how to build a championship contender from the ground up without sacrificing the future. The rest of the league is officially on notice. What is your one-word reaction to this unbelievable mock draft? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section right now. If you guys love this deep dive content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We deliver daily, hard-hitting football videos, and it never costs you a single dime to join the community. Hit that subscribe button and let's get ready to dominate this season.